Hey everybody, this is Perch, and I'm very happy. I'm a happy guy. No, a number of people, somebody somewhere, I didn't hear it. I guess somebody in a video said I'm very angry lately. I'm not sure the context of that, but honestly, I'm not. I'm not that angry. There are things that make me angry, and that's what we're going to talk about a little bit. But in general, I'm a happy guy. I've got a wonderful family. I've got two kids that are very smart and are going to cause me no end of grief as they get into their teens. Two teen daughters who are very clever. That's not a good combo for my health and sanity. But we'll see how it goes. And a lovely wife who supports me throughout all my crazy nonsense. And there is a lot of crazy nonsense and kind of my general struggles of trying to figure things out and what to do and all the rest. So I mean, I have nothing to complain about. But what is frustrating, and I think what people have heard in the videos, is some of the mistakes that get made. And here's where I'm sure you know this term, but to me, this kind of exemplifies a lot of what happens sometimes in comics. It's called the unforced error or the intentional error. It's where you make a mistake that you did not need to make. Do you know the meme? There's an image of somebody and they're riding a bicycle down the street, and then they lean over and then they just stick a stick into the spokes of the bicycle, and of course it crashes, and then they're on the side of the road, hurt, going, "What happened?" That happens a lot. It's become a meme I don't like to see, because it's so on the nose at times. It's where you intentionally screw things up. And this has happening with more and more frequency. And me being me, I'm not comfortable with the easy answer. And the easy answer a lot of people like to throw out is like, well, they're woke. They're SJWs. So of course they do stupid things. And I don't like that answer because it's not true. There's plenty of companies. In fact, people point out all the time, Google and others that are quote unquote woke, but they're raking in billions of dollars. So what is it? Why the comic industry? And again, this is where I think when people argue it, they like to come up with overly simple answers. It's like, well, they're the dumb woke ones. It's like, okay. But I don't love those answers. If they work for you, they work for you, and that's fine. But yes, I like to go into the details of why. And again, some people have called this fence sitting. Some people have called it other things, but it's not. It's called I want to see the math. It's like if a problem, and I do this with my kids. If they do a math problem and the answer is wrong, I'm very curious to see how they got to the wrong answer. It's important to me to understand how they got to the wrong answer. I don't just go, well, it's a wrong answer. It must be because my kid is dumb. I want to see where it went wrong, because usually that provides a really good clue that allows you the ability to, well, I don't know, make better choices, figure out. That's also a meme, by the way, that statement. But basically, not do it wrong the second time. And one of the things, if you've ever worked for a company or if you've ever led people or managed people or these things, what becomes true is that you can tolerate mistakes. You can understand mistakes. You can wrap your head around them. It's fine. But what gets frustrating is when the same mistake is made over and over and over again. This is where, when you look at those numbers videos that I put up, and you see comics where they relaunch. I mean, Captain Marvel to this day remains the numbers video that's probably the most kind of illustrative and painful of looking what's been done in the industry. Because you have a character that's going to get the benefit of a major movie and a lot of exposure and a lot of material. Whether you like Brie Larson or that film or not, the marketing went up significantly for Captain Marvel. And so what do? Well, you relaunch it 5 times. You keep rotating art teams in and out. You visually change the look of the character dramatically from, over the course of 10 years. And when I say visually change the look, I mean, and again, it's not about she has to have big breasts or small breasts. She just should have consistent breasts. Like they shouldn't radically change over the 10 years. And I get it, different artists, different styles, different interpretations, but it's not that simple, because there was clearly a decision made to reduce the bust size of Captain Marvel and then to make her more muscular. And then somebody came around and were like, oh, we went too far. Quick, make her hair longer again, make her more feminine. And it's like I mean, it's like a child playing with something they don't understand. And if you're, if you've ever worked with Disney or any kind of big company, and I have both, you realize that there are penalties if you blow up your brand eventually. Now, we haven't hit them yet, and who knows when they're actually going to hit, but they will hit at some point. It is the fact is not lost on Disney, and again, I can say this from experience. When you have one thing that's really working, say Tangled cartoon. This is a real world example, by the way. You can Google it, look it up. Tangled, the movie, comes out. It's a success, but it did underperform what Disney thought it would do. And the blame got firmly pointed at the marketing, which was screwed up. The toys were not ready when they were supposed to be ready. The the books and the other things were ready too soon. A bunch of books that, like the read-along books and those kinds of things, came out significantly before the movie, so there was feelings it spoiled the movie. There were a bunch of what Disney basically labeled as unforced errors that drove out money from this property. Again, this is public. I think Fast Company's done some articles on it. You can go look it up. It's an interesting case study of Disney being frustrated. And so when Frozen came along, there was much more control. Some of the people who were in charge of business units for Tangled were fired or removed from their jobs. Other people brought in. And some business units that previously didn't have oversight suddenly got a lot of oversight for Frozen. There was a lot of scrutiny because they wanted to make sure that one worked, and clearly it did. Frozen was a juggernaut of merchandise and movies and music sales and everything else. Little annoying children singing that damn song over and over again. It worked for them. So when you look at comics, the challenge I have, what gets me angry, and I think what people have been picking up on, I'm guessing in these other videos, is I don't like, it drives me nuts to watch people intentionally poke the stick into the spokes. It drives me nuts when a current DC writer talks about, why they pirate comics, a current writer. It drives me crazy when, Marvel will spoil their big event months before it comes out. It drives me crazy when, clearly you see plenty of people talking about how much they love, Hoxpox and what Hickman did to start this universe and the twist around Moira, and then proceed to basically do nothing with Moira for a year and a half. All of these pieces are frustrating. They are what I would call unforced errors. They're things that anyone or most anyone could point out that this is a dumb idea. This is a bad thing to do. Relaunching this title for the 5th time is a bad idea. Spoiling the end of Jason Aaron's Phoenix tournament by in the solicitation going ahead and throwing in the cover for one of the variant covers, so it reveals who the new Phoenix is going to be months before the tournament is over. All this stuff is dumb, and it's easily avoidable. And so the idea of the idea that people are walking around, comics are tough. There's a lot of hard problems. Yes, you do have to combat with piracy. Yes, you do have to combat with a changing digital market and what you're going to do about it. The direct market is a challenge because it's a very niche business. And so how are you going to get more people over there to that? The cost of comics is too high. The prices of talent are rising. There's a lot of competition from streaming services and games and all these other things. It's a tough business with tough big boy, big girl problems that have to be solved. So when we're sitting around and we're going, hey, our marketing department decided the most important thing we're going to do today is, we're gonna have a variant cover for this new character Somnus that we put Steve Orlando on. That's going to be 6 to 8 pages long, and that's going to be our news story for the day. And by the way, the audience that we would appeal to with this character, we're not sure this audience exists. We don't seem to be doing a great job of pulling them in to the stores where our products are sold. But yeah, let's just go ahead and do that. That stuff is maddening. The conversations on social media. I mean, I differ. I'm similar to other people's views on this. You've heard my interviews, I think, with Sean Gordon Murphy. We've talked about this at length. I'm not the person who's like, we need to take social media away from creators. I'm not the person who says we need to have them, abide by a aggressively policed set of ethics and standards. But I am a person who says, it bugs me that in this industry, people do not have the good common sense to at least pretend to be customer friendly when it clearly benefits them. When I say customer friendly, I do not mean, just basically taking any criticism that comes their way. I don't mean that. I just mean, not behaving like a crazy person, not talking about how you're mixing a bunch of different types of drugs together to see what kind of experience you get. By the way, please pick up my YA friendly book. I'm talking about maybe not go into how you're horribly depressed when you're the leader of a company and that the world doesn't make any sense anymore. Maybe don't crap on your fellow creator who you're doing a book with. Maybe, if you have a title coming out and you don't like the variant cover artist because you think they did a cover for somebody you don't like, maybe don't make a big fuss on social media about it, hurting your own company and your own comic. This is an unforced error, and unforced errors drive me crazy because they're avoidable. You don't have to do this. In fact, the way you get out of these troubles is you shut up. Or you literally, if you did nothing, you would have avoided this problem. But instead, you were compelled to do something that actually did damage to you and did damage to comics. And watching that happen over and over, day after day, that's the part that makes me nuts. So I apologize, by the way, if I've come off angry. I'm still a happy guy generally, but I can't stand these unforced errors. It makes me nuts. But that's just me. What about you? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe. And hey, thanks for listening.